Yo, what's good YouTube everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I've got for you guys the best pro build class setups for rank play release and just generally what you guys should be using in comp Call of Duty. So right now we have three main classes, every single variation of the weapon. I will also kind of go through and explain the details. Let's get right into it, starting off with the main AR. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna make a spare class just right there. We're gonna leave that one right there, and this is gonna be our spare one where we're gonna kind of go through anything that needs to be changed. Okay, so we'll keep that spare, but for now let's go through the main one. So starting off with the aim, we want to start off with the assault rifle, what we're using in comp. So when I talk about comp, there's going to be two variations. One is going to be rank play and one is going to be the pro builds that they use. Now, the reason why there's difference is because of GAs. For you guys that don't know, GAs are gentleman's agreement. So let's go for an example. If we go through the attachments, if you look at the barrel, the best barrel to actually use is probably the reinforced because it gives you a bit of damage range and a bit of bullet velocity. It's quite a good barrel to have and it's really important for an AR. However, the pros felt like it was a little bit too strong, so they were testing out getting rid of it, and that means it wasn't officially banned in the CDL, so you could still attach it to your class setup. However, they're GAing it, right? So they're agreeing not to use it. That's why the next best option, because they're GAing the barrel and the reinforced, is a long barrel and the reinforced, is the gain twist, okay? So you can see that's not the best barrel to use. However, with the pro builds, they're going to be using that. So it's very important to understand that. Now, when rank play comes out, if this is allowed, most people will be using the reinforced. So what I'll do is when rank play comes out on the official rules, I'll make an updated version of today's video. But for now, this is what the pros are using, okay? Starting off with the aims, we're going to go with the microflex. Now, there's two options, okay? So one of them is the microflex. The other one is the Merlin reflex. So I have seen some people use this one. Now, not as many. You can see it's a little bit more zoomed out. I personally am not a big fan of it. I just think the microflex is the cleanest one. And you could try and, try a few different ones. But honestly, I wouldn't really waste my time on it. I would just go straight for the microflex, and that's probably gonna be the one the pros use. And the reason why it's just the best one, it's the nicest one, it's the best for mid-range, long range. It's just the nicest sight, and I would recommend going for this one. Okay, then we go through to the next attachment. We're going to be using the muzzle. So for the muzzle, we can't use suppressor in comp. The only options we really have here is a compensator or the ported compensator. Now, I have seen Attacher's build, and he goes with the ported compensator. However, I've seen like Ghosty and Celium, and I believe Dashi as well. They all use a compensator. I've tried both of them, and I like that this has got the first shot recoil control. However, I just feel like the compensator is a little bit better. I don't really know how to describe it. It's a weird one, but you can see here, I don't know how to describe it. It's just one of those where I think for the first shot, this one feels better, but like, I'll show you now. I don't know, it's a weird one. I don't feel like that's really relevant. Like the first shot, I don't know, you can't really tell the difference. And I just feel like the compensator was probably better overall, so I go with that one. Then we go through the barrel. If you guys aren't playing GAs and you guys are just playing for fun but want like a pro build, then I would go with the reinforced barrel for sure. Again, when rank play comes out, we'll go through that. But for now, I would go with the gain twist because that's the only one you're allowed to use that's actually viable here. So gain twist is what you want to go with. Then we go through to the under barrel. Now, once again, in terms of the options, the only one you really want to go with is the vertical foregrip. That's going to help with your horizontal recoil. If you want a bit more of a snappy class, then I guess you could maybe get rid of that for something else. But for me, this was balanced, and I feel like even close range, I feel like it still does its job. So I like the vertical foregrip. You don't really, I don't think you're allowed a magazine. Like I said, in rank play, if gunfight is allowed, I would put extended mags on. But for now, we're not really going to be wasting anything on a magazine. I don't think you're even allowed to use extended mags, so we're going to skip through that. And then we want the rare grip. Now, I have seen Attach use, I believe, the balanced stock here. Now, I actually don't mind that build either. So let's just say we get rid of the foregrip, right? And we put on like a balanced stock. You can see the strafe speed is actually a lot faster. It like straight away, it feels a lot faster. So if you guys don't mind sacrificing just a little bit of recoil for like a little bit more strafe speed, at close range, this is definitely a bit superior. But for me personally, I prefer kind of going with like the foregrip, having it a bit more longer range and leaving the stock. And then I go with the ergonomic grip here. The reason why this is so important is because of the slide to fire speed. In this game, the sliding is so broken. In Black Ops game, generally, it's quite strong. But with Omni movement, you're going to be sliding all over the place, even sideways. So what you want is when you slide, you want to be able to get your gun up as quick as possible, right? And that's your slide to fire speed. If you have a low slide to fire speed, when you're sliding around, it's going to take a bit longer and you're going to get zapped by those faster weapons. So you want to make sure you're using ergonomic grip. In my opinion, I think it's the best one. I've seen other people again use different ones, but for me, ergonomic is the best by far. It's got a nice little balance, and the slide to fire, very, very important, especially if you guys are using movement as well. You could also have the dive to fire, which I think is a great little concept. So in terms of the aims, this is the build that I recommend. I think it's the best overall balanced one. What I'll do is I'll test out some more builds and I'll give you guys some more in-depth, other variations. But for now, this is the balanced one. Make sure to screenshot it. Let's move on to the rest of the build. So We have the Strider for the pistol. I'm going to go through that now, and it's the exact same class for all of them, okay? So in terms of the Strider, we got the ported compensator on. We have the reinforced barrel, we have the fast mag, we have ergonomic grip, and we have the overpressured fire mods, okay? There's some stuff that's banned, like rapid fire and stuff like that. So in terms of pub build, it's a little bit different, but for comp, this is the best build in my opinion. You can get a sight if you want, but I don't think you need to waste an attachment. Well, I think this gun's just pretty good, to be fair, like without a sight as well. Like you can see even at decent range, like it's not bad. It's not bad to get some shots off. If you get good with it as well at close range, it can do its thing. It can do its thing. It's not the strongest in the world, but if you get a few shots, you know, you can definitely get some damage down. So I don't mind it. I mean, I'm not the best with the pistol. I haven't really got used to it, but definitely a good thing to have. Now, just so you guys know as well, because it took me a while to get this, I had to actually look online. If you guys are running around with your pistol and you wonder how to get your knife, hold in your melee button. So in this case, I don't think it lets me do it. Okay, that's pretty weird. All right, cool. It doesn't let me do it right now for some reason, but when you hold in your melee button, for me is my right stick, it will then go past your weapon and switch straight to your knife, okay? Don't know why it's not letting me do it here, but that's okay. That's how you do it if you guys were wondering. Then we go through concussion is the only thing you can use. Flashbangs are actually banned, so you can't use them. You can only use concussions. Now, I don't mind using frag grenades. To be honest, on my AR, I probably should. I normally do. I don't know why I've got Semtex. On my AR class, I like having frag grenades because you can cook them for a bit longer and throw them a bit further. Normally, the rule of thumb is like subs run a Semtex and ARs run a frag grenade, but you can definitely mix it up. But for me, I like to have the frag grenade, and I actually sometimes like to have both classes depending on the map and stuff like that. In terms of field upgrade, trophy is the only system you're actually allowed to run to put a trophy on. Then we go through to the perks, very important. So Ninja is a must-have. You can't use Gunfighter. That's actually GA'd now again, so it's something that when rank play comes out we can look into, but for now we can only use perk greed. And what you actually want to do is your perk 2 and 3 are basically guarantees. You want fast hands and you want double time, okay? Those are guarantees. Out of the perk 2, there's nothing else you can even use. Everything else is more for pubs. In perk 3, again, nothing else you really want to use. They're all for pubs, so they're guarantees. Where it gets a bit creative and I actually like it is your perk 1s. Your perk 1 and your perk greed, you essentially are choosing 2 of the perk 1s, okay? So for me and for all the pros, Ninja is basically a guarantee. I see all the pros running it. With sound touring this year, it's so loud and there's no dead silence field upgrade, so you definitely need Ninja as a guarantee. Then you have a bit of flexibility. Now, I recommend as an AR player to run Flak Jacket because you're going to be sitting on okay, I talk so much, they kick me out the lobby. Let's get back into the private game. But I recommend going for Flak Jacket here. Like I said, I know we're going into a lot of detail just for the first build, but the rest of them just going to be the attachment, so it'll be kind of quick. So yeah, perk greed, I would recommend Ninja as a guarantee, and then you want to have some options there. So I would say Flak. Oh my god, why is it tweaking, bro? It keeps kicking me out. As a like AR player, I think Flak is probably a priority, so I'd put that on. If you're a bit more aggressive, you could potentially run Dexterity, and you could even have Attack Mask class if they're really annoying you. But for me, it's Flak Jacket as a priority, and if I had a fast build, maybe I'd go with Dexterity. If I had like a build where I was going with a balanced stock, like we mentioned earlier, I'd probably put Dexterity on and have like a fast AR build as well. Then and then I'll throw Semtex on that instead of Frag Grenade. So that's class setup 1, okay? This is it. Make sure to screenshot it. Let's move on to class number 2. Now, in the beginning of the game, this was used a lot more. I haven't seen any pros really use it. They had a tournament yesterday. No one's really used it, but the PP919, now I didn't think this was bad at all. I actually liked it, but I did think the Jackal was a little bit better, and I think the pros are on the same wave, and they're not really using it. So the only difference here is the perks. Like I mentioned, for a submachine gun, I actually think Dexterity is very, very good, because you can look at what it does. Reduced weapon motion while jumping, sliding, and diving, okay? Less fall damage is obviously a nice thing if you need it, but you don't really need it in this game. There's not a lot of areas you fall off. Again, nice to have, you know, when you're jumping off zip lines and stuff like that. I think it's a nice little thing to have. But the main thing for me is reduced weapon motion while jumping and sliding. Those are the biggest things, especially with jumping. The jump shots are really poor this year, so having that reduced weapon motion is definitely helpful. And the next thing is, you know, while sliding, when you're sliding in this game, just like I mentioned earlier with that ergonomic grip, which I believe we also have on this. Yeah, we have the ergonomic grip as well. So now you have something that gives you slide to fire speed, dive to fire speed, and you have dexterity. You're going to be sliding and stuff really quick in terms of getting back to like your weapon. It's really quick. Like you see that, like when I'm sliding, I'm literally shooting straight away. For me, it's a really, really important thing. It's a must-have for your SMGs. I actually switched recently. I did run flak before. I just recently switched, and I can tell the difference straight away. It's a lot better for me personally, and I'm going to stick with dexterity. You will get hit by nades, so hopefully your trophies can help you out there. And if you really feel like they're over nading you and you know you can't control it, just have a spare class with flak jacket. You're good to go. So those are the perks we run there. Let's go through the attachments. We start off with the barrel. On the SMG, you can use a reinforced barrel, so it's going to give you some range and bullet velocity. Nice little thing to add on to an SMG. Magazine's going to be fast mag 2, just because again with an SMG the fire rate's so fast, you want to add a magazine just to make it quicker, and you're not going to, you know, waste a an attachment on an optic on a sub as well. So you could potentially go for a muzzle. You could go for a muzzle, maybe a compensator to add a bit of recoil control. But for me personally, I feel like the fast mag's a good balance. Again, you could do that. I definitely can see a world where you get rid of the magazine, add like a compensator, and make it a little bit more of a range build. But for me, I left it, I think it was fast mags. I mean, I can't remember, but we'll leave fast mags 2 on. But again, I think, you know what, we're gonna move that. We're gonna keep the compensator on. I think that'll be a bit better. Then we go through ergonomic grip. We went through already. Really good attachment. Stock is the balance stock. This is probably my favorite stock in the game. I think it's got a lot of positives. You can see it gives a little bit more strafe speed, bit of movement, bit of hip fire, just overall really nice little balanced build to add a little bit of mobility to your weapon. Then we end up with the overpressured, giving a lot of bullet velocity, a really valuable thing. If you're really struggling, you could go with recoil springs, and now we've got, you know, the muzzle as well. Your recoil should be at a good level. If you're really struggling with the recoil, go for that. But for an SMG, I think this is great. Perfect build. I would recommend it. Then we go through again, the rest of the class are the exact same. The only thing I'm changing is your lethal to a Semtex and your perk 1 to dexterity. Then we go through to my favorite class. I'm a flex player, but this year I am really enjoying the Jackal. Probably my favorite gun, just because I feel like my playstyle with Omni movement, I'm liking getting more aggressive. I think you guys will love the class. Starting off, I've made a few changes since my last few gameplays. So I actually had a few other things here. I think I had the gain twist barrel because I thought that the reinforced barrel was G8. Then I saw Simp using the reinforced barrel, and he explained that it's only G8 on the ARs. Okay, so I was like, okay, let me change that again. I also had, I believe, I can't remember what else I had. I think it was like ergonomic grip here, but I saw Simp using the quick draw grip, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna trust the guy. I'm gonna trust him. Again, I think ergonomic grip is definitely a good one to rely on, so I was playing with the ergonomic grip, but I'm gonna try it with quick draw. I tried it in a few pubs before this video. It felt good. You definitely feel faster and snappier, so I can see why they're using it, especially with that 3+ ADS, so we're gonna stick to that. So anyways, this is the build. Starting off with the compensator, gives you some nice vertical recoil control. Then we have the reinforced barrel. Like I said, probably the best barrel because it gives you bullet velocity and damage range. Really good thing, just for you guys to know what the difference is. Damage range is essentially the damage at further range. So if you look at can you see on the left here where the body is? I can't put my mouse there, I don't believe. Let's see. Okay, cool, I can see it. Yeah, so right there you see without it. Okay, when we have like gain twist, you see damage beyond range is 29.8 meters and the damage is 15. Okay, but when we go to this here, you see damage beyond range 32 meters. So essentially what happens is your range, your strength at range increases for effective range and beyond range. So your bullets are a little bit stronger at a further distance. So when you're going for those slightly medium gunfights, you might save a bullet, and that's quite efficient and quite important to have. So that's why that's why damage range is important. Bullet velocity is basically how fast your bullet travels to that distance. So if you feel like you have no bullet velocity, it might have like really bad hit scan. It's like a shotgun, right? A shotgun's gonna have low bullet velocity. So if someone's across the map, you're not gonna hit them. So some machine guns the same, obviously not as drastic as a shotgun, but it's not going to have insane bullet velocity. So the more you add, it just makes it nicer at that medium range, which is really important because this game, with the maps the way they're designed, there's a lot of AR gunfights, so at least having that extra range, very helpful. Vertical foregrip, once again, I tried a few options here. I don't think it's close. This one's probably the best one. What you can potentially do, something I was looking at maybe doing, was maybe going for like a fire mod here, maybe going for like, I don't know, actually I was going to go for like maybe more bullet velocity and seeing if I can control the recoil without it, but to be honest, I'm sticking with the vertical foregrip. I think that's just looking too much into it. This is a good build, so let's just stick with it. Vertical foregrip is there. Then we go on to the rear grip, kind of briefly went over it. Ergonomic is something I personally like because you're the slide and the dive to fire speed, but Simp used a quick draw. I wanted to try it out. It felt good, but I would definitely experiment between the two, see what works for you. Then we go over to the last one, and once again it's going to be the balanced stock, just the overall best stock in the game, gives you a bit of everything. Let's test out the weapon and see how it looks. So right now you see we go through, it just feels good. It feels good, it's nice, it's snappy, it feels fast, it strafes well. Again, I'm still thinking about the ergonomic grip. I can definitely see the case of having this grip because, you know, you aim it a lot faster, but I don't know, I kind of like the sprint to fire, I kind of like the slide to fire speed, and it's something I might personally put on. So that's gonna be it. That's gonna be the pro builds. Again, in terms of perks, let's go back to it. Only difference here from the AR, just like with the other SMG, is I put a Semtex on and I put dexterity on. I think dexterity for a sub is a must-have. Really recommend it. I know you lose, you know, flak jacket, which is such a crucial thing to have against nades. You tank a lot of nades. The only time I would say maybe get rid of dexterity and prioritize flak jacket is if you're somebody that primarily finds yourself around the hill and the objective, like you naturally kind of go to the hill and stuff like that. I don't think there should be a hill player But let's just say you're someone that naturally on the team feels like, you know what, I always get the most time, I naturally play around the hill, me and my team, that's the way we kind of set up, then I definitely would see a world where you put flak jacket on. However, if you're like more of like a run and gun type player like myself, you're more like cutting lanes, being annoying, I think dexterity is a must have, because you can slide cancel around the corner, fry him, back away, using the omni movement to your advantage. That's going to be it. Those are all the class setups. If you guys need any more videos specifically for class setups, tips, tricks, whatever it is, let me know down below. We have been grinding on YouTube recently. I just want to show my support, man, my thanks to you guys. You guys have been crazy. We've just hit like 22,000 subs, which is insane. So right now this video is going to go out on my main channel, my CDL channel, and my more of COD channel. So if you guys are subscribed to wherever you guys are watching this on, I would really appreciate it if you guys can check the link in the description, or if you just go to my YouTube, like on my actual channel, all my channel links are there. If you guys could drop a sub on all my channels, I'd really appreciate it. Not all my videos overlap, but videos like this I thought would be important for all the audiences. So, you know, like say somebody just watches my CDL channel, right? I want them to be able to watch this as well. So some videos will overlap, but most of the time they will be tailored towards that channel. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did, drop a like, and I'll catch you guys for another video later on today. Peace.